Hey guys, it's a pregame show. We've got 11 games on today. It's Wednesday in the NBA. Welcome everyone who is here. Good to have you guys that are here. Hopefully more people come in today. And we have a chat about the games that are on. We play a bit of dribble game. We look at lineups. We look at changes. We look at information. Delonte, is that how I pronounce that name? I'm good, mate. I'm all right. It's early. Had to do a late night airport run, so I'm a little bit tired. Wasn't that early? It's 10:30, but I did a late night airport run, so I didn't get to bed till like 2 a.m. But it's good. We're here, NBA. There's lots of stuff on. There's going to be a big recap show later tonight. I did the waiver wire show earlier today already, so yeah, we're fired up. And we are ready to go. Do I think Bluey is a first rounder? My guy, Trevor, I have never, ever watched an episode of Bluey. I know people love it. Never seen it. I heard it's great. Never seen it. All right, let's go. Let's quickly dribble. Yeah, let's go dribble. All right, dribble page. Let's see how quickly we can get this one. Clay to Miles Turner. What's this? Are we looking at Pacers trading for Miles? All right, Indiana player, Golden State player. Who? Buddy Hield. Who plays? Buddy Hield. Daniel Tice. Nembhard McConnell. Did McConnell ever play? No, he was only on the Sixers. Who's on the Warriors that might have been on the Pacers? Damian Lee, Kevon Looney, Anthony Lamb? I don't think so. Now Lamb was with the Rockets. Who else is in the Pacers? Brissett? I don't think so. He was with the Raptors. Terry Taylor, the Red Rooster? I don't think so. Klay Thompson to Miles Turner. Jordan Poole, Steph, Draymond, Wiggins. No. There's got to be a one-person connection here, surely. JaMychal Green? Did he ever play in Indiana? I don't think so. Who is this one? This is stumping me. You guys might know it. Brad Wanamaker. That is an amazing pull, and it is correct. No, it's not. Brad didn't play with... Oh, my God. Because Wanamaker was with the Warriors when Clay was out. Wow. Wrecked. That would have been a great one. Kent Bazemore, did he ever play in Indiana? Pat McCord didn't play in Indiana. I'm pretty sure. Monte Ellis. Oh, my God. That is it. Wow. Good pull. Who was that got the Monte Ellis? Zelox. Legend. All right, let's go back and look at the lineups that we've got confirmed so far. So we know the Magic are starting Fultz, Wagner, Banchero, Bol, and the other Wagner, Mo. They're bringing Mo Bamba off the bench. Worth watching. The Raptors are starting Van Vliet, Barnes, Anunoby, Siakam, Koloko, so Gaz, Trent off the bench. Paul George and Kawhi Leonard are playing. John Wall is out. Ja Morant, John Conchar are playing. Jaren Jackson is playing. Alex Caruso is playing. Patrick Williams is going to start, but he's going to lose that spot when Javonte Green comes back. They confirmed that today, that Javonte Green will move back into the starting lineup. We don't have an update on the Pacers, so Halliburton and Turner are questionable, as is Sticks. Jalen Smith. Yeah, Sticksy.
Stand by your man!
Chris Paul and Torrey Craig are back for Phoenix, so campaign is likely a drop. Mike Conley still questionable. Grayson Allen and Brook Lopez return for Milwaukee. What other statuses are we waiting on today? Zaire Williams looks like he's going to play for Memphis today. Devontae Graham is questionable. TJ McConnell's still questionable. And that's probably where we're at. Oh, Larry Markkanen's out. Wow, where did that come from? Larry Markkinen out with illness. Mike Conley out. So that both just happened. Ooh. Clippers are starting Jackson, George, Leonard, Batum, Zubats. Okay. So Sexton will start. Who will start at the 3? Beasley? Horton Tucker? I don't think it'll be Gay. I don't think it'll be Fontecchio. I think Beasley and Horton Tucker are going to be the options there. But that's huge usage that's got to go to Beasley and Sexton. They might even... and Olynyk, obviously. He's get a little bit more as well. But the big boost, I think Beasley, Horton Tucker... Agbaji in the rotation. I don't think we'd be worrying about him too much, but that's huge that Lowry's out. It's absolutely massive. Yeah, I didn't see that coming. Obviously, because it just came out of nowhere. Who's favourite for the World Cup? It's probably Brazil, isn't it? Do I have the Suns or Celtics winning? I've got the Celtics winning tonight. Really interesting to watch. Drew Tamu. Are you called Drew Tamu because you went to Texas A&M? How much do you value having a stream spot at this point of the year if your team is all top 80 must roster? Write it, pursue 2-for-1 trades, which would introduce risk to your safe roster. Drew, are you winning? And if you're winning, then don't worry about it. Because I can guarantee you between now, December the 7th, and fantasy playoffs, somebody is going to get hurt on your team. Something is going to change that will help you open up a streaming spot. So if you're rolling, you're all top 80, you don't need to justify, you don't need to make that move now. There's no need for it. Will Kessler start for Utah? I don't think so. That would mean you're starting Olynyk at the 3. So Olynyk, Vanderbilt, and Kessler, I highly, highly doubt that. They're losing their 3 in Markkanen. I don't think Kessler's a replacement there. Do I see the update on Cade? Nothing changes there. Even with surgery, he'll still be doing shoot-arounds. Yeah, I don't believe there's any change here. It just remains a highly confusing situation, and I don't think any of this, he's on the court, he's shooting, changes really anything. It's very, very weird. I never talk about Jaden McDaniels. That's not true. As soon as Karl-Anthony Towns went down, we talked about him as the highest priority add if he happened to be available. But he's rostered in plenty of leagues. So he's not a guy that I talk about being a guy you've got to add because he's been added. It's like I don't go out and say you've got to go and add Larry Markkanen because he's added everywhere. Not that McDaniels is the same level of player, but he's rostered in too many leagues that he doesn't hit my waiver wire cutoff. But when Towns went down, I did mention that he is the guy to prioritize over Anderson, over Noel, over McLaughlin, if he happened to be available. Where do you draw the line between a player being a sell high or just progressing and getting better? It is a tough one to do, but often it's like a guy's a sell high because he's hitting 50% of his threes, and I don't care if he's getting better. He's not that good. Right? No one's that good. Or you're always going to cast a level of doubt where a guy goes and over a short period doubles his steal rate or hits 15 percentage points better from the line. You do expect a level of regression. Usually you want to see this stuff for like 30, 40 games for it to stabilize and for you to go, okay, well now maybe he is a 40% three-point shooter when he used to be a 29% three-point shooter. Like that's how long I want to do it. And there are ways that we do it through methods at Basketball Monster. It's called a stat padding method. We look at what's happened this season versus career numbers, and the more you go into the season where that number comes on, the more that defaults towards what's currently happening this season, because you're trying to pad it with past results, because that's all you've got to go off. Like if someone's played 10 games and they shoot 40% from 3, but they've been a 29% shooter over the past 200 games, you're not just automatically going to say, well, they're a 40% shooter now. Because I reckon you could go through a lot of their history and see little 10-game stretches where they shot 37, 38%. Same sort of like with a lot of guys like Lonnie Walker as an example, it's coming to mind at the moment. But in general, the ones I look at with sell highs is if it's stuff that just is impossible to happen. Like Jeremy Grant shooting 47% from 3, it's just not going to happen rest of season. He might have moved from a 30, I think it's 35 last season. He might have moved from a 35 to a 40% shooter. That's reasonable. That happens. Best case, he's 42%, right? But that's still a big difference between 46. And even 42 is a wild, wild jump. So that's when I'm looking at, talking sell high or getting better. It's like these things are crazy. And even if he has improved, there's still a 20% haircut he gets off his current value. Do I see Mo Wagner getting more minutes than Bol and Bumba in the future? Bumba, yes. Bol, probably not. But it's going to become really squishy for him when Carter's back, and then John Isaac's going to be in the mix somehow, somewhere, sometime. But I think Wagner's a pretty good player. I don't think he's better than Bol. I think he's a better defender than Bol. But I think he might be better than Bumba. Is Cat a buy low? Yeah, anyone who's injured, you can always get them at a cheaper price. I'd be really cautious about how cheap I'm going or how much I'm actually giving up to get Towns. But you'd always want to try that. Did I get to the grand final in 2016? I love your username, 54 Dogs. Yeah, mate, I was there. We were behind the goals, the end that we kicked in the fourth quarter. So we were bottom level behind the goals. Pretty bloody good, mate. Clippers only 7-point favorites. What do the bookies know? Don't know. That's pretty weird, isn't it? I think the Clippers clear that 7 points, but yeah, it is weird. And let's see if someone asks if there a Halliburton update. There's nothing. But what we do know is the Clippers are starting Nick Batum today. So Reggie Jackson, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Nick Batum, Ivica Zubac. We're going to get a Desmond Bane update either later today or tomorrow. So Batum, the spot start with Marcus Morris out. Interesting they didn't go with, say, Terrence Mann. Paul George has to play shooting guard, doesn't he? Like, can't play anything bigger. Anyway, Batum played pretty well last game. There's some value in him, but I think he probably gets a little bit lost in that starting lineup. When do I think LaMelo could come back? Honestly, any game. We're at that time where it could be any game now. And the Hornets are terrible at injury reporting. They're really moving up there at Orlando and Memphis levels of terrible reporting. He could come back at any point. Taylor Horton-Tucker or Troy Brown, minimum salary draft stars. Horton-Tucker's got the ability to generate more counting stats, I think. So it's probably him, but I don't feel like his role is as secure as what Brownie's is. Have I been to an NBA game before? No, I have not. Never been to an NBA game because I'm working when the NBA regular season is on. Been to a million summer league games, but never to a regular season or playoff game. And I do need to get over for a playoff game at some point. How's my view of basketball changed since starting the podcast? I think I'm trying to be less swayed by game-to-game big performances. Like in the past, if I was casually playing fantasy and watching the NBA, you go, oh man, did you see blah, 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 had 45 points, what a game. Man, what a legend, he's so good. But now I look at it and go, yeah, but the reasons. Why did it happen? How did he get there? Is this realistic? So I'm more looking at longer-term sustainability, the way guys play together, the impacts of other guys and what that means for play style. That's probably more, I'd say. You start Chris Paul or Cameron Payne, it is Chris Paul without any question at all in my mind. Corey Kispert is starting for Beal, so they're going with Morris, Kispert, Avdia, Kuzma, and Porzingis. And I just saw something that Josh Robbins is tweeting out this starting lineup, and he put an accent over the E in Monte Morris. Now, I like you. I think they're called diacriticals, those things. I don't know what they're actually called. I think they're called diacriticals. But I never put it on Monty Morris. I didn't believe he had one. And now I am annoyed that I don't have that. Well, I looked up Monte Morris on Basketball Reference. Nicknames. Man. Excuse me. Big Game. Tay. What are you talking about? The Count of Monty Assist T.O. Jesus Christ. They're horrific nicknames. Is he that's embarrassing. Is he actually got an accent over the E? Because I need to know that for when I type his name out, because I like to get that stuff correct. Let's have a look. Monte Morris. I don't see it listed anywhere. I'm going to make it my mission to find out about that. Because it's annoying me when I get that wrong. Alex Caruso's playing today. He was questionable with an ankle problem, but he's playing, ready to go. I'm going to go to the Wizards media guide. What the hell is it? Pronunciation guide? No, that's not what I want. I'll find it, surely. Let's go to the team game notes. How's everyone going? More news, nothing there. Last game for Kawhi was encouraging, and I'm more encouraged by the fact that he's playing 28 minutes. Will Wendell Carter Jr.'s rest be sufficient, or will he need more rest throughout the season? I don't think there's any way to really know that, but I am a little worried that it will linger. I think the idea of him resting now is so it doesn't linger, but I can't pull that idea out of my head. Is Hallie out? No, you can see on the screen that I'm watching here, Toady, there's a big blue Q next to his name. That means at this point he's still questionable. Will Torrey Craig play enough minutes to warrant a play? I think he'll play probably the similar amount of minutes, like the 28 to 30, which makes him a borderline 12-team league guy. Being the biggest fantasy basketball YouTuber, do you take into consideration your influence on the most added, most dropped players each week? No, I don't. Because I still don't think that the vast majority of people don't watch or listen to what I do. So I think there is some impact in things that I say, but I don't think it actually makes that big of a difference. I could be wrong. I don't think my reach is that big. It makes me sad I've never been to a game as well. But again, with work, it is really hard to get there. But I think at some point I'm going to have to get to a playoff game. I'm going to have to do that. Do I have a fantasy team? Yes. I have about 7 or 8 of them, I think, for this season. Do we know if Chris Paul is for sure playing? He's probable. The expectation is he's going to play. When someone is moved from out to probable, then it's very unlikely they don't play. He does have it over there. Where is it, B-Knox? I can't say that officially, but that is... it's annoying that I didn't know that. I'm looking at the official Wizards game notes here, and it's not listed on that. Huh. Can you tell me where you saw that? Nigerian background for Monte Morris. But the accent on the E, that's not a Nigerian thing, is it? Maybe it is. I saw the reports of Cade taking pregame. He's been doing it for like 2 or 3 weeks. He's been doing it for like 2 or 3 weeks. So I don't know what to make of it. I don't know what their process is or what they're doing. This is why I'm like, I'm just going to hold Cade a little bit longer. I know that the likelihood is he doesn't play, but nothing is like making sense here with him. Has my rest of season outlook on Tim Hardaway improved? It's improved, yeah. But I know what he's doing currently is unsustainable. He's hitting like 58% from the field. Like he's not that guy. Like he's more likely to be 43 than 58. He's probably unlikely to be a 50% shooter. So he's on a massive hot streak. So I've improved it just because he's starting and playing more minutes and getting more shot attempts. And that's where I've made an adjustment in projections. But the shooting stuff is well above where he needs to be. Okay. So Wikipedia says he's got it over the E. Interesting. How many minutes Chris Paul plays? Sam, what the Suns like to do is they hold players out a little bit longer so that when they come back, they're not really on restriction. So I'd imagine Paul gets 30 minutes. That is what I've understood from what the Suns have been saying, and maybe why there's a little bit of an extra delay for Paul is they try and really heavily condition him so that when they hit the game, they hit it running. Is Caruso a stream? Yeah, I think he is. You'll get good assists and steals. Now you've got to deal with bad shooting and poor offense, but the assists and steals in maybe probably a 30-plus minute role is useful enough, yes. We still have no news on Halliburton. I will update you if I hear something, but we haven't heard anything on that yet. Is campaign an instant drop? I believe so, yes. But it would depend really who I'm adding. Like, do you actually need to add somebody today with an 11-game slate on? Like, would you actually play that person? And if the answer is probably not, all the options out there don't look great, then I would just hold pain, see what happens in today's game and hope that Chris Paul doesn't get re-hurt or anything like that. But we have very rarely seen campaign play like 26 minutes next to Chris Paul if Devin Booker's healthy. He'll go back and play 19, 20 minutes and it won't be useful enough. And then he turns into just an injury stash guy. Am I good at playing basketball? No, not at all. Is there a player you didn't draft this year that you wish you did? I saw someone get Paul 1 pick before Shea. I probably didn't get Shea. Like I had Shea like at maybe 20 before the news injury struck. And then I was like, all right, I'm not going to take him at 20, even though I was sort of 50-50 on him being ready for opening night. Like I never sort of ruled him out for the start of the year. And then I dropped him probably to like 35, 36. And right before the season started, I did that like, this is like a perfect draft scenario. And I had, at the end of round 3, start of round 4, I was going to take Porzingis and Shea together on that back-to-back issue that I was looking at. And I went, I don't know if I want to take both of those injury risks together. And I ended up not doing it. I ended up with Porzingis and Drew Holiday, I think, in that draft. So it is probably Shea that I missed out in some drafts, but I don't really remember how a lot of the drafts went. Who gets the minutes? THT or Gay. I don't think Rudy Gay, who hasn't played in 2 weeks, is really even a small forward at all anymore. He's almost exclusively a power forward or small ball center. So I don't really think he'll get some of them, but I don't think he'll get huge. Maybe it is Fontecchio. I think it's just going to be a mess though. It'll be Agbaji, Fontecchio, Horton Tucker, Beasley. So many different guys that they can throw in there. Even more minutes for Alexander Walker and guys like Clarkson, and they play extra small. I don't think there's going to be one guy that plays his Markkanen's 32 minutes and someone plays all of those. I think it'll just be a sort of a messy rotation scenario. Jesus Christ, someone dropped Jared Allen in your league? What is going on in your league? That's rough. Any games I'm looking forward to today? Well, the number one is going to be Boston and Phoenix, pretty clearly. That's potential for best game of the season, really. Are Zion's numbers sustainable? I think most of it is. I'm not sure about the defensive stuff because we haven't really seen that from him up until the last 2 weeks. But otherwise, I think most of it. Do I see Bruce Brown staying a 12-teamer rest of season? I see him being close to that. Like whenever someone gets hurt, he pushes up. Will they ever be healthy for long stretches of time? Should they prioritize getting him 29 minutes a night anyway? Probably. So I think if I had to guess and say yes, I think he probably will be, but there will be times when he's like your worst player and other times when he's your 9th best player. Honestly, Robert, we got no idea how long his hot streak will last. There's no way of knowing that. You ride it until he gets cold, and then if he has a prolonged cold streak, you drop him. But the more important thing to look at with Hardaway there is the role. Does he move back to a Reggie Bullock-esque 25-minute-a-night role? Because that's not useful. But if he stays at 32, even if there is a cold streak, then there's more value in holding on to him. No, Nembhard wouldn't. Well, Nembhard might keep you hard. I don't know. That's how you can discuss that with yourself and your therapist. Whether he keeps you hard when Tyrese Halliburton returns. But in the game before Halliburton got hurt, he was really good. Now, there was a little bit of blowout in that, but he had 10 assists, and he'd been pushing into the starting lineup anyway. So I think he can be at least a back-end guy, and we just want to see what happens. Like, that's the thing. We add him. The opportunity was there. It was trending in the right direction. Halliburton got hurt. He blew up. So now we have him, and we hold. And we see where we go from here and see how it looks. But I think he's going to be able to play like 27, 28 minutes a night here as a starter, at least until Duarte returns. And I think he's probably a better player than Duarte at this point as well. With Jalen Smith questionable, is Turner going to be available? I don't really see either of those injuries impacting the other. I think with how they're playing and the way that they're going, right, I think that if the guys are healthy, they're healthy. I don't think that it's any sort of fake, questionable. They're going to rotate those guys in and out. I don't think it's got anything to do with that. My holiday-scented candles type. I do love a candle. I don't really have holiday-scented ones, but I do love scented candles. Was Cade's shin confirmed to have a stress fracture? No, we've heard nothing. All we know he's got shin soreness. And the report from, I think, Shams that said a feared stress fracture. We've heard nothing. But what I have heard from internal or for sources saying is that the expectation is surgery. And you don't have surgery for soreness unless there's a stress fracture or a stress reaction. So while it hasn't been officially confirmed because injury reporting in the NBA is dog shit, I'd be pretty surprised if it wasn't. Okay. A Benedict and Ivy drops in a 10-team league. Probably. They're not producing anywhere near 10-team league value at the moment. Now, you could hope that stuff improves, but part of the problem with Mathurin and Ivy when looking at their preseason projections and production was that their fantasy game, especially as a straight college translation, wasn't particularly good. Like, they're not one of those guys with huge steals or big assists or great efficiency or high rebounds. They were a scorer, and especially with Ivy, the efficiency is really killing him. And that's really it. And we're seeing that almost exactly translate over now. In a 10-team league, like having both of those guys, I think is severely hamstringing what you're going to do. And while we do expect improvement for rookies as the season goes on, again, rookie wall, not really true. Vast majority of rookies get better as the season goes on, not worse. Is it actually going to be good enough to hold through the down times? Like, what's the overall upside? Like, can they be Can they be top 90 guys? Best case? Maybe. What's your opinions on travel selectively being called? How do I frame this? I think that I don't know. I don't actually care about travels that much. The pedantic nature of, half an extra step here. I think the amount of calls, and I know that people, especially like really old school basketball people, are like, oh, there's so much traveling in the NBA. I think the leniency on travels actually makes things a little bit more exciting. And I know you don't want guys just running the whole court the whole time, but I don't know. I find like that extra little bit of leniency actually leads to more exciting plays. I don't know. What do you guys think about it? It's definitely increased, and there's a ton of them. I don't love it. It feels a little pedantic. I know it's the rules. It just feels a little pedantic. Any more updates? Kevin Porter Jr. is on the injury report now as questionable. Josh Christopher's questionable. Bruno Fernando's questionable for tomorrow. Interesting. Does Silas have any chance of being fired? Oh, you would have to think so. He's not like he's performing particularly well, although I think they've won 5 out of their last 10. So, and given they're not really in a position to go anywhere, like I don't think they should have him. I think you should be trying to get a coach in who can grow with your team, and I don't think he's that guy. But I would say the odds of him being fired are pretty low. How many weeks do I expect Cam? 2 questions. Gordon Hayward, I think we're looking at least another 4 to 5. Is it too early to grab Cam? That's going to depend on your individual situations in terms of where you're positioned. I still don't think we're getting Cam back before Christmas. And is he good enough to hold on to... Like, if he got injured reserve, then yeah, sure, it's great, right? But is he actually good enough, a guaranteed top 100 player, to stash for zeros for maybe another 3 to 4 weeks? I'm not sure that he is. Any news on a Maxi return? Yeah, there was news on it today. The news was that he's still a ways away and he's not jumping. So we're probably at least 3 weeks away, I'm guessing. But you should still hold on to him. You shouldn't drop him. You should still hold on to him. Did someone say that Gobert got benched? He definitely didn't. I saw someone correct him. Yeah, last game. Gobert not getting minutes. He fouled out in what? Oh, sorry. He fouled out in 22 minutes and then he got ejected. It's got nothing to do with minutes. Do not read the box score and just assume those things. Where can you buy this nice black locked on t-shirt? It's not for sale. They just gave it to us. Sorry. Is Jalen Smith playing? We don't know. He is still questionable. So these are the stat. Well, so we're going to wrap this up here. This is what we still don't know. Zaire Williams is questionable, leaning towards playing. Jake LaRavia is doubtful. Devontae Graham is questionable. Terrence Davis is questionable. Serge Ibaka is probable. Marjon Beauchamp is probable. And then the big ones are Jalen Smith questionable. Tyrese Halliburton questionable. TJ McConnell questionable. Miles Turner questionable. James Johnson also questionable. Chris Paul is probable. There you go. That's where we're at with that. And that is going to do it for today's show. If you guys are here and hit a thumbs up on the show, that would be great. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell. We'll be back with a huge recap show of all 11 games later today, so make sure you are sticking around for that. It's been good to have you guys here and chatting again in the pregame show. Love doing it with you and love being a part of this. It's always awesome. All right. This guy's asked this a lot of times. Do I stand by my man Sticks or drop him for Fultz? Points league. Well, you tell me, what are they averaging in your points league? Didn't realize it was a points league question. I think that Fultz has probably more upside than Jalen Smith, but you should be able to tell that just by looking at what their averages are since Fultz has returned. I think there's upside in Fultz. There's a little bit of upside in Sticks, but one scoring system might get an advantage to the other one a bit more easier. All right, guys, I'm out of here. I will see you later.